get to the main events, perhaps, of the college football week in week one, and that is Florida State and LSU, the game that obviously everyone talking about SEC wise, two teams that certainly have national championship aspirations meeting in week one again. And we remember what happened last season, one of a wild game to start last season. And now we get the rematch here in Orlando between these two. Brian, this is such a fascinating matchup between these two teams. And I think you really look at, as you talked about earlier with LSU, we kind of mentioned in the win total, just everything that LSU brings to the table. But what stands out to you specifically in this matchup against this Florida State team?
Well, FSU, they have their highest expectations since Jimbo left. Jordan Travis is legit, man. He's really good, and Norvell did a really good job of, adding some real key pieces in the portal, and certainly a name we're all familiar with from South Carolina and Jaheim Bell. And then you also get the late get, kind of like Zachary Franklin for Ole Miss. You get and a big guy in Keon Coleman, 6'4", out of Michigan State, 12 starts last year, and got poor quarterback play and still had 798 receiving yards. He's a guy who can go up in traffic and make big plays. So Travis has got weapons around him. Benson, one of the better running backs in the ACC. But the thing with me with FSU is, just the last two memories of of their defense, excuse me. I think I actually even mentioned it earlier. Florida couldn't do hardly anything against Vanderbilt the week before, and then they go to FSU, and they had 5 receivers out, 2 starters were out with injuries, and Richardson only completed 1 pass to a receiver that whole night. That being Pearsall. It was quite a few of their connections though, and 2 touchdowns. But to give up 38 to Florida. And then Oklahoma brings its JV squad to Orlando, and FSU had no opt-outs. Oklahoma had like 4 or 5 opt-outs from their offense alone, and it had some guys that had already entered the portal as well. And it's basically home field, same venue that we're going to have for this one as FSU is down in Orlando. Everybody's all in, going for a 10-win season, and yet they give up more than 500 yards of offense to Oklahoma and have to get that late field goal to win. So I guess my only point is I think FSU is good, and I think they have a lot going for them offensively. And he added some parts defensively. Norvell, that is from the portal. They got a really good D tackle from out of the MAC in Braden Fiskey. Was first team All MAC at Western Michigan last year. But I still have questions about this defense, and LSU's got revenge mode. That was the first game of Kelly's tenure. They did muff 2 punts. Although, FSU made its own mistakes that allowed LSU. Certainly, it was a horrible play call by Norvell. A wide pitch with a 7-point lead on 3rd and goal, and they end up fumbling. That was not very smart, nor was his throwing the ball in field goal range at NC State down too late. So we'll see. I just prefer LSU's roster overall. I don't really give FSU that much of a home field factor. I'm not positive on this, but I think I don't know if they split them 50-50, but I know FSU took a monster contingent to New Orleans last
Yeah.
year. And I think LSU will have a big contingent in Orlando. Not as much. It'll be, a little bit of a home field advantage for FSU, but in terms of crowd noise and fans. But LSU will bring a minimum of 20, maybe even 30,000 fans to Orlando. And I just like LSU to win. So the line's been bouncing from 2 to 3 kind of all summer after FanDuel, like in March, opened at FSU -1. But if you're at LSU -3 or fewer, I think that's the play.